All right, so this is pretty close to the blue-black mutate list we played last time on stream that I liked a lot. One new card that I want to try out today is Malakir Rebirth. So the more I played this deck, the more I came to realize I basically just want to make sure I can keep Slitherwisp or Sea Dasher Octopus in play while I execute my game plan so I can generate lots of card advantage while I go. And I'm a big fan of spells that are also lands, and this is a spell that's sometimes a land drop that also can save our key creatures. The interaction with this and mutate cards is also kind of cute. So if you target a mutated stack with Malakir Rebirth, they come back as separate creatures. So like, if you've got a Dirge Bat with a Sea Dasher Octopus on it, and you target it with Rebirth and it dies, you get Sea Dasher and Dirge Bat back separately, is how that works. So I'm interested to see how this feels. It could also be right, so like I've got a split of counter spells with Stroke and Negate in my main deck. I could see it being correct to play all the Negates main with the idea that, again, I just want to protect these things. So the exact mix of things in the main deck, I'm not 100% certain on, but I'm pretty happy with 4 of each of these counter spells in the 75 for the control matchup. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this one and see how it goes today. Yeah, I think all the negates main are probably correct. I mean, tier 1's kind of a buzzword, Chewy. I think it's a stretch to say the Naya deck that we just played is a tier 1 deck after it's been played for one weekend. I think it has potential to be a tier 1 deck. I think if it saw a lot of play and continued to post results, it could have the potential to be that. But I think counting it as that to start is an overreach and inaccurate. Yes, mutating my flash creatures draws a card with Slitherwisp, Duck Doolittle. That is exactly correct. This deck would not work if that wasn't the case. Do I want to play against rogues? Maybe I'd do at least once. Our game 1 hand here kind of sucks, though. These negates and disdainful strokes don't look particularly exciting. Stroke especially. Man, that would have been a good draw. Why rock? Come to the channel this morning. Let this happen and then play Slitherwisp, I think. And draw a piece of removal here. Well, I mean, that's kind of a piece of removal. Because the Godzilla variant looked out of place next to all of my other cards. Didn't fit with all my borderless stuff. Terrible draw. Do I just bounce this Lurrus to make them spend their turn recasting it? I think so. Sprite Dragon's not a mutate card. Huh? So if they counter this Singer, I can Brazen Borrower, bounce the Thieves Guild Enforcer. I'll have Fabled Passage here to deck me. It's the Temple, okay. Why does that matter, Jeff Brew? For reference, I think the idea of deck ownership is stupid. I really think the idea that, like, I own a deck idea is very silly because of that opinion. I think people are far too obsessive in card games about owning a specific deck idea. It's very silly. Hey, morning, Jarvis. I think we're probably dead here. I don't think we're going to be able to race them milling us out, unfortunately. I only play designer decks. So I can, like, mutate this and kill two things here. But that doesn't really... I guess that might be enough. 15 cards in my deck. Close game. Kane's Indignation. Thank you for the very generous tier 2. I appreciate the 21 months. Welcome back. Vomit. It's the game. The shame we had to the couple of missed land drops we had early that game, costing us ultimately in the end there, huh? If we had just slightly more mana, we would have been able to disdainful stroke that last play there. I don't really know what I'm looking to cut here. The intervention's not actually good. I feel like I can't cut my threats. I don't want to cut my lands. Maybe it's Omen of the Sea. I don't really want to be cantripping against their deck and the Scries or whatever. Bouncing Shore Shark's effect probably isn't very good. It is a threat, though, which is appealing. Oh, I like that suggestion. Yeah, they're going to be putting a ton of crap in our discard pile, right? How good is Negate? Negate stops drowns, it stops their draw fours, and it stops their removal spells from killing my things. I think Negate's very reasonable here. We negated. I don't think I want to bring in the extra negates out of the sideboard, but I think leaving the 2 in the main deck in is fine. I think there's a number of matchups. I think there's a number of matchups in this format where it's just like they're not 4 negate matchups, but they're like 2 negate matchups, which is why main deck negate's super reasonable right now. It tags a little bit of something almost everywhere. This matchup, I trimmed the second Omen of the Dead on the sideboard when I shuffled around to fit the Malakir Rebirths in, but this could be a matchup if they're good here to justify having 2 Omens of the Dead in the sideboard still. I'm gonna bottom this. Yeah, I'm gonna bottom this, and then we'll Fabled Passage for Island on one here. And this might turn into it. It could be right to bottom this and just keep the swamp. Hey, Armored Panther, thank you for the 3/4 of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Good morning. Will you allow me to sing you the Siren song? Allow me to sing you the song of my people. Shame. 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 The old post flash creature ambush. They didn't play around the Siren, chat. They didn't. Oh, you know what? I bet they wanted to play a tapped land. I'll bet they wanted to play a tapped land. That's probably what happened there. Is they were expecting to Temple of the Sea. You know, maybe I was supposed to main phase that borrower. Yeah, and this is the tough part about matchups like this. Like, it feels like we can kind of stay in the game card for card, and then they start playing they get to play 4 draw 4s and 4 divinations, and we just, like, get buried in terms of card advantage. You can't keep up. Especially without a copy of Slitherwisp or, our mutate card. Need one of our 8 pieces of card advantage. Yep. And they have Luris' card advantage too. CDPR dictated did what exactly capitalism dictate that they do, which is they pushed out the release before the holidays because that's what profits dictated was best for the release. People spent endless complaining about the delays, and then they complained about the fact that it released early and wasn't ready. So, like, you know, they were screwed either way. So they picked the option where they were screwed but made more money, which just makes sense. Yeah, I know plenty of people that enjoyed it as is. I personally want a more polished experience when I play a game. So, like, I plan to not touch Cyberpunk until, I don't know, probably early next year after it's had a bunch of patches. I'm told from people that Witcher 3 released with a ton of bugs similar to that as well. And it's just like, that game was great when I played it. Waited till after the fact and it was fine. There's a ton of good games out there. You know, maybe I should have mulliganed this hand against my opponent showing Yorion. I don't really plan to upgrade my graphics card anytime soon. I have a 2080 Super in my computer, and I do a lot of my gaming on my PlayStation 5 anyways, so I prefer playing video games on consoles as opposed to the PC to begin with. So I'm not really in a rush to get another upgrade. I bought my 2080 so I could do RTX voice, and it works fine. Mijirati, thanks for the follow. Sorry if I butchered your name there. The driving was a miserable experience. I mean, I find vehicle operations in most of those types of games to be pretty bad. If they kill the Dirge Bat in response, the Sea Dasher Octopus comes into play. If they don't kill it in response, they get to kill their Valky. So, like, we're going to get a 2 for 2 at worst here regardless. Or either getting 1 for 1 to we're getting 2 for 2. I mean, like, so then your comment's just silly in general, Zach. No amount of patches is gonna fix what you didn't enjoy about the game. Not every game's gonna appeal to every person. And just because you didn't like what Cyberpunk was as a game doesn't mean other people can't like it, enjoy it, and it can't be a good game. Like, I guess I'm sorry you bought something that you didn't enjoy, but like, I don't know what you want. Not every game's gonna work for every person. So we're definitely behind a bit at this point. If we can find a negate or a disdainful stroke off the top of our deck, we could end up in an okay spot. Sea Dasher Octopus. You know what? Let's suit up, chat. Okay, this is a little thing, but I'm going to put one over and one under because this leaves their converted mana cost different. So this way, if they have the even odds sweeper, I don't lose both of them. Yeah, I played a couple hours of Disco Elysium. I might revisit that when they release their director's cut. I wasn't super into that game because I had to read everything. It felt like reading a book more than playing a game. But if it's fully voice acted, I think I could enjoy it. Find one of our removal spells here, Brazen Bar. We're in a really good spot. I think I have to bottom that now. Okay. I think keeping the negate is playing to not lose. I think we gotta take the Gargath out here and hit them and draw some cards. Sure. So they're at 7 mana right now. So if they have untapped land next turn, they could ultimatum us. Would not be surprised to see Shadow's Verdict in the group of cards that they pick here. Like Shadow's Verdict, Time Walk, some other card. So like both Time Walk and Shadow's Verdict are bad for me, so. Wow, they have another Gargoth too. Yeah, I'm not sure that we're gonna be able to beat this. If our opponent was playing a more typical build of Sultai, I think we'd be in a good spot here. But the multiple Gargoths in their deck here is really bad for us. Like I said, it was unfortunate that we had to bottom the negate and that we didn't draw another one, but that was the play to win line. Alright, well, I mean... Start here, I guess. We might be able to punk them out of this game. Am I supposed to play this land? I have 5, 6, 7. So if I play the land... I can go Slitherwisp into Borrower into 2 mana flash spell next turn and kill them with Slitherwisp triggers, so I think I am supposed to play this. Playing the land gives us Omen of the Sea as well as the, what's it called, as an out. Some other card I'm not thinking of, the Octopus. Alright, then that's lethal, right? So we do the land. Really sick game. The number of times I've beaten Resolved Ultimatum with this deck is impressive. Like, this is far from the first time we've beaten Resolved Ultimatum with this deck. Alright, we get to bring in Strokes, Negates, Disputes, Omen of the Dead. I get to cut these Heartless Acts and these Singers. I think that's the plan still. Does the fact that my opponent is on a bunch of Gargoths change? So I've been cutting Heartless Act in this matchup, but my opponent's got a kind of an atypical build with Gargoth in it. So I don't know. I feel like the answer is no. Like, I've got Dirgebat, Brazen Borrower, and like I've got 6 ways to tempo it, and I've got 4 ways to kill it here too. Lovestruck Beast implies the adventure package. Maybe. I don't know. If we see a full adventure package here, I might reassess again. I think for the time being, I think you can play Lovestruck Beast as an anti-aggro card without playing the full adventure package in the opponent's archetype. Just as a point of reference. I'm not saying they're not playing the adventure package. I'm just saying Lovestruck Beast doesn't guarantee it, I don't think. Alright, well, not doing anything else with my mana. Let's send that back from whence it came. It's a real shame we don't have a Dirgebat here. That would have been great to answer this Yorion they're likely to play out next turn. JP, thanks for the follow if you're still here. Sorry I missed that one. Last game was a little intense. I'm playing Naked Octopus here. Really need to draw a Disdainful Stroke next turn. Okay, I mean, all things considered, Shore Shark is not the worst. I think I'm playing 5 mana Shark here. And then we'll put the Octopus onto it to send the Yorion back to their hand. Walking Ballista is not an historic. They didn't put cards in Kaladesh Remastered that are banned in Pioneer. So Copter and Ballista just weren't in the set. Little late, but... Oh, you know what? I should have waited to play my land, because if this draws a card this turn, I could draw another blue source, right? I've got 2 blue, we're fine. Woman of the Series. Now, so historic for reference, historic and pioneer are not going to merge ever. Think of historic as vintage to pioneer's legacy. And I think if they have a counter spell here, we just concede. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's probably dead at this point. At a certain point, historic is just pioneer plus historic anthologies, right? Yeah. No, actually, that's not true. That's not true at all either. There's also ban list differences between the two that are pretty significant. But also, even if that was the case, one small difference like that is all it takes. Like one format defining card in an anthology is all it takes. Like, oh yeah, there's jumpstart cards too. Yeah, like Muxus and stuff. And also, it's gonna take years to get all of Pioneer into... Yeah, Jumpstart's not in Pioneer. Jumpstart's not in Modern either. Jumpstart is Legacy, Vintage, and Historic. So, like, past that, who knows how many other, you know, Jumpstart style set releases we're gonna get between now and when all of Pioneer is available on Magic Arena. I think it's a huge difference. The amount that Historic and Pioneer will be the same eventually is propagated through the Magic community really demonstrates to me how little thought people put into the things that they say. Like, if you stop and think about it just a little bit, it very quickly becomes apparent that those two things are, that's not the case. It's not even just power. The ban and restricted lists are different between historic or between vintage and legacy as well. Like Brainstorm is restricted in vintage, and you can play four Brainstorms in every legacy deck. In fact, if you're not playing 4 Brainstorms in every legacy deck, you've probably fucked up. I think because I have this negate, I want to wait to Slitherwisp on 5 here. They're not really doing anything. And especially with the Disdainful Stroke, if they go to kill the Slitherwisp, I'm going to fight over it. Okay, well, they waited till my turn now, so now instead of fighting over it, I think I just cantrip it. I think we just let this happen, and then I hold my counterspell. What do you need, Declan? Do I have the remote? No, believe it or not, I don't have the remote to your television. My money's on the couch, has his remote, chat. Jeff, do you happen to have the keys to my car? I do not. Apologies. Getting punished for... I think I'm negating this and then putting an octopus under my borrower. Blue source. This might be wrong, the wrong fight to pick. Because they can land ultimatum me. Yeah, I messed this up. I should have just let that happen. They can also binding me here, and that's not good for me. Yeah. Yeah, I messed this up. I should have let the borrower die. That was the wrong fight to pick. We didn't die because of it, but we lost our card advantage engine, and that's a big deal. I don't think saving the borrower is important. I shouldn't be fighting over my own threats. The only threats I want to be fighting over are these ones. I only want to fight over my threats that are generating card advantage. And because the octopus wasn't on that card yet, I shouldn't have fought over it. If the octopus was already on it, it could have been okay to fight over there, but because it wasn't on it yet, I definitely shouldn't have. Am I gonna get Mystic disputed here and feel real dumb? I just Heartless acted. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Industrious. You gonna make it 2-2? No. Man, being choked on blue mana sucks. Probably scrying this turn. It might be wrong to fight over this. The fact that it's a threat that's generating card advantage makes me want to do it though. Nah, it's the same it's always been, Jin. It's possible I want a second Castle Locthwain in the mana base. It's real good in spots like this. It's another form of card advantage in these go long games. Alright, this game's over. Could have gone either way for a little bit there. The stroke and the castle are definitely putting it away though. I think this deck has a genuinely good Sultai Ultimatum matchup. Just for reference. This deck has a good Sultai Ultimatum matchup for a lot of the same reason like the blue-red Flash deck has a good Sultai Ultimatum matchup. You just have a bunch of counter spells and flash threats. Why not play the Octopus instead of the Borrower? Because we hit for more. Oh, I guess we could have just played them both out. That's fair. We could have had two separate threats. That's probably better, Stark. You're right. They didn't have any ground blockers. If you haven't seen this deck before, that means you're either new to the channel or you're not new to the channel, but you haven't been following my YouTube. This is our third time playing this deck this week. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's reasonably competitive. Yeah. It generates a lot of games like those last couple where you have a bunch of decisions to make. Which is fun. Dad to dad, how many times do I have to hear the wheels on the bus before it's lethal? Oh. Mutating kept a blue open. That's true, but I wasn't really choked on blue at that point. Am I going to play the Angel deck again? Yeah, definitely. There's a ton of decks I'm looking to play at different points, Cordemi, so it's hard to fit everything in a super short period of time, but there's a lot of decks I wanna get through. Come into the loving song of the siren. The siren would love to sing you a song, my beauty. Yeah, Jin, both Magic's formats right now are just genuinely very good. Activated my trap card, opponent. No, yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you, right? Like, I was very soured on Magic personally, and like, how bad's the clay matchup? I haven't played it a ton, Nocti, so I don't really know. I actually haven't really played the Gruul matchup with this deck, so I'm interested to see how this feels. It doesn't work as well with open deck lists. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and time you out for being stupid. Stop it. Get some help. So, I think we go ahead and do this here, and I'm gonna go ahead and mutate this under this, so that way this doesn't die to a stomp. Rats. Pretty sure we're gonna die since we missed our land drop here. And like, we drew 2 extra cards. Our deck's playing 27 lands at this point, so not a whole lot we could do here. We kept a 3-lander, we drew 2 extra cards. Maybe their hand will be bad, he says, before they play the best possible card. This is the part where they cleave us, right? If I would have had an untapped land here to play a 2-mana spell this turn into a Dirge Bat, we would have been more than fine. Oh, they can't attack with the Love Struck Beast, so they can't cleave us. That's fair. Maybe we have a shot. Am I hyped for the new Runeterra cards? A little bit. I don't know. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not sure how much Runeterra content I'm going to be able to make time for, because Runeterra content just isn't anywhere near as popular as Magic content. I tried real hard there, and people just don't watch it, so Even, like, as long as Magic is good, I don't know that I can really justify playing much Runeterra on stream. I'll probably play a bit of it off stream, but... Like, to put it into context, Runeterra content is less popular than Magic the Gathering Online content. Like, my Moto videos get more views than my best Runeterra videos. My most viewed Runeterra videos. I think we're just passing here, right? I think the fact that we missed the land last turn probably means we're too far behind here. But maybe we can do some finagling with our bounces and our removal spells. Well, I can negate that, right? Is that worth negating? Think that's worth negating? Okay, so I think we Heartless Act the Brushfire Elemental this turn. So that way the Lovestruck Beast can't attack, and then we go to 4. No, that takes into account stream viewership as well. Duck Doolittle, Runeterra. All of my metrics are better on Twitch than YouTube, but Runeterra is bad on both. Does poorly on both. I mean, I don't fault people for like not watching Runeterra stuff. Like Magic's a much more popular game. And like I said, I don't intend to play games I dislike on stream ever again. Like, if for some god-awful reason we had a repeat of Uro and Okos, I don't think I'd continue slogging through Magic. But, like, as long as Magic is great, and, like, Magic right now is really good, it makes the most sense to focus on the game that's good and also pays my bills better. Alright, so I definitely want all my removal spells here. What are we trimming? Probably a couple of Omen of the Sea. I think we leave these in because they're land drops that can also be okay on occasion. Do I want these Erebos' interventions as opposed to Omen of the Seas? Maybe? One of the things, and this is definitely a design perspective type thing, I think Runeterra is a much harder game to watch from a content perspective than Magic. And part of that is because Magic tends to have a good amount of downtime in the actual gameplay. And the way most people watch Twitch, in my experience, is people don't watch Twitch as the only thing that they're doing, right? Like, there's 1,100 people in here right now, and I would wager most of them are watching Twitch while playing a game, while at work, while doing something else. They have it on in the background. And it's very easy with Magic to like take a 20-second pause or a minute pause when I say like, oh, this turn's awesome, and you can refocus on Magic and see what the awesome turn is. Whereas Runeterra, because it has so many micro decisions every single turn while you play it, it's very difficult to idly watch Runeterra in the background. Because you can't, it's tough to like pick it up for a second and then go back to what you're doing. And like from a gameplay experience that keeps you more engaged a little bit, but from a spectator experience and the way most people engage with Twitch as a platform, it makes it not as great. Atrastix, thanks for the 3/4 of a year. I appreciate the prime. Polar Scribe, thanks for the 39 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. We use this as a spell here. I think part of it is familiarity with Magic over time too, Skunky. But I think even familiarity aside, just a gameplay comparison to gameplay comparison, Magic is easier to watch the way most people watch Twitch. Is just what it comes down to. Hey, Ice Skulls, thank you very much for the Prime support. I appreciate that. I know there's a lot of people you could drop that off to every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for sending it my way. This is my trap card opponent. Man, are we gonna miss on a land drop again here? Can I please have an untapped land deck? Dang it. I'm gonna deadweight this and attack them for 3 to try and hit my land drop. This is, like, not an exciting trade, but, like, it's also, like, eh. If they have a Stomp here, I feel real bad, but if they don't have a way to kill this and they just play another blocker out, I get to kill their blocker and then draw a card next turn, so that's great. I'm gonna use Eliminate rather than Heartless Act because Heartless Act can kill a Questing Beast. Definitely a land. Man, I really cannot put into words how good these designs were for Magic the Gathering as a game. And dear Wizards, if you're out there, if these designs don't stay in Standard permanently, you done fucked up. At least one set per year from now on better have modal double-faced land card spell cards in them. The game is just so much better off with them as designs in the game. Snakeskin Veil. Yikes. I would settle for one set every 2 years if every other fall set, so they're always in Standard, would be fine too. But they should just always be Standard legal. Oh, there should always be some of them. Because you're not understanding the value of playing things like this, Hidden Flames. So, for example, if you say this is an open deck list tournament, so in an open deck list tournament, my opponent's never attacking in when I leave 2 mana up, that's an advantage to me. It means I can leave 2 mana up. It means I can leave 2 mana up and they won't attack in. So I get value out of that. So what you're saying is just wrong because it's good for me regardless. This is a great draw. Because if they're not attacking in, that's good for me. I think I'm just putting C. I don't have anything really to hold up here anyways. And if I Sea Dasher under, this thing survives the Akronan War Chapter 3. What's going on, Deebs? Did you get a pop-up? I don't think... Can you refresh, Deebs? I saw your highlighted message. But you definitely, thank you for the resub. Sometimes you have to refresh send the sub notification through. I don't have a sub notification for you in my list of things for reference. I've not played any Aetherworks, Marvel, and Historic. Typically speaking, the energy cards aren't very good. The power level of the energy cards is not high enough. This deck that we're playing, by the way, would kill for a disfigure. Having to play deadweight as opposed to disfigure sucks, but you need the resource efficiency. That Bloomberg dead in the primary quote takes me back. Do y'all remember February of 2020? It was about a decade ago, but in February of 2020 there wasn't a plague yet. It was a neat and exciting time. The before times, yep. Okay, so we get to go Slitherwisp into Singer, the questing beast down some power. No one can remember that far back, Jeff. Don't be silly. Man, these snakeskin veils have just been brutal. I think I just take the hit. We just take the hit. Oh god, it gives it counters to stop my Heartless Act too. Yikes. Yeah, if you rebirth a mutate creature, the entire pile comes back separately. For people that are wondering on that interaction. Alright, dead to cleave. If they had cleave, they would kill us here, right? So I should Valkyrie rebirth? Should we put deadweight on the questing beast so he wouldn't be dead to cleave? No, I wanted to leave myself the ability to brazen borrower, draw into another brazen borrower. If there's a cleave at the end of this tanking, I'm gonna be very sideways. Just on the floor tilted. This is lethal, right? Pretty close to it. This might be greedy. Oh, I should have. I didn't have. Sweet. Sweet. Am I happy with how I sideboarded? I think so. I think so. Yes, Slitherwisp hurting your opponent when it draws you cards is like different than how those designs usually work. Usually black cards hurt you when you draw. So the fact that it's the fact that it's reach instead of hurting you is so absurd. Yeah, Slitherwisp is a sweet design. Love that card. Lista, thanks for the follow. Good morning. The life loss is black and the card draw is blue rather than just being black draw. Yeah, that's probably accurate because it's two colors. Cass Rokun. Good morning, good morning. I really wish Slitherwisp had been a 3/3. I don't think it would have been overbearing at 3/3, and part of the reason why it's not as good as it could be is dying to Stomp's a big deal in this format. The blue takes the edge off. That's literally what it does, isn't it? Easy mulligan here. 27 lands later. God bless America. I'm gonna keep this hand. I think I'm more likely to draw lands and win with this hand than I am to win on 5 cards. I have 26 lands in my deck. 4 cards. Swish. I think even if we miss, keeping this hand is correct for that reason. I think I have to look at a hand like this and go, okay, how likely am I to win with draw? How likely am I to draw lands in this hand with this hand versus how likely am I to win on 5 cards? Is the calculus. Awesome. Sweet. Really been a fan of this card so far. I don't know if I want more than 2 of them, but the 2 copies we've had so far are good. Honestly, it might be right to split Mire and Jawari Disruption 3/3. Definitely see that. Please pump this. We just kill this, right? Man, their hand's got to be real mediocre if that's their turn 4 play, right? It's got to just be like a bunch of Embercleaves and Great Henges and stuff. Maybe Dragons if they're playing it. They also have like Snakeskin Veil in their deck, and they didn't Snakeskin Veil us there. It's a real shame we don't have land for this Dirge Bat. If we would have gotten a Dirge Bat here and then untap and Sea Dasher onto it, like, would have been crazy good. Am I supposed to play... Am I supposed to play this here? I feel like the answer is no. I feel like I only want blue mana, right? Rude. I think we're dead. I think we needed to hit the... I think we needed to hit the land. We needed to hit the blue source. If we would have had a blue source here, I would have been able to bounce the Great Henge. But they're gonna get to escape the Phoenix and draw a card now. And then the Phoenix will let them replay the Great Henge next turn, and that amount of tempo I don't think we're gonna be able to recover from. Yeah, Compare.com is a new F2K sponsor. So the bot's throwing that one up in chat every little bit. Yeah, I think we're just dead here. That was a close set. Feels like we have the tools to be competitive here. We have little bit of bad luck in games 1 and 3 there, but overall, like how that matchup felt, it felt like our deck had the tools to be reasonable there. RQR Master X with the 61-month resub, one of the other OGs. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Think about my mana. This is 12, 16. This is 9, 17, 19. I probably want to go up a blue source with the addition of these, huh? This puts me to 8, 13, 17 blue and leaves me at 8, 16, 18 blacks, and I'm at 18 black and 17 blue. That seems reasonable. Hey, thanks, Magus. I appreciate the entire year. You'll have a sword whenever you're back here now. So keeping me around. I didn't reconsider my mana when I added 2 black sources with the Malakir Rebirth. That's probably right. Yeah, this deck that we're playing is what I would classify as a feel smart deck, Chewy. There's lots of little lines and micro decisions you make each game. You tend to feel smart when you win or lose. It's the type of deck I tend to enjoy playing. It's a feel smart deck, but it's also not a do nothing control deck. Dislike feel smart decks that are the old Gandalf decks. I think I'm happy with Rebirth. I don't know that I want more than 2 copies, but the couple of copies we've been playing have felt reasonable. Alright, sweet. Red aggro is another matchup I would like to play to see how it feels. Winning the die roll here seems huge. Yeah, the reason to not play more temples is because I don't want to play more tap lands in my deck. My deck is already playing 8 tap lands and 27 lands, and I don't want to play 10. I'm also playing Fabled Passage, which is a pseudo tap land. Yeah, I think if I had a standard, my next standard tournament, this is the deck I would play in it. It's the thing I'm enjoying the most. It seems reasonably competitive. Do I want to block? They have another Rimrock Knight. They kill both my things. I think I just take 6, huh? I don't play Modern Communist Cat Girl. I don't have a favorite deck there. The format doesn't generate games of Magic I like anymore. The modern format I used to love playing doesn't exist anymore. It's been replaced by something else. Is Singer a card that I want? I think so. I think so. Okay, I want to destroy you, and I want to bounce you, and then I attack you for 4. And then next turn, I can Singer plus Borrower bounce something. I could also Borrower bounce plus sack Omen of the Sea to try and find another mutate card for Dirgebat here. Yeah, Singer's done exactly what I wanted it to do in the aggressive matchups. Been very good. They have Frostbite here, we're gonna be in trouble. They get to kill my shark, but I can't play around that. We'll block because they have Rimrock Knight. Well, I forgot to scry during my upkeep, but then I drew this anyways, so you know, better lucky than good, I suppose. All right, yeah, man, this deck is just everything I want to do in Magic Chat is just like wrapped up in this deck. It's just, it's so delicious. It's so delicious. Need two more cuts here. Need two cuts. Is Rebirth good here? Probably not. How many black sources? I have 16 black sources without Rebirth. I don't know if I can cut Rebirth because it's a land. Range Devil, thanks for the 13 months. I'm going to be honest, I have not cast an Erebos' Intervention yet. They might be better as something else. I wonder if it's crazy to trim some of these. I know they were okay that game, but I'm bringing in more removal, and removal just tends to be better. I think I like Shore Shark more than Brazen Borrower. That's close though. I'm gonna trim a land. We're on the draw. You're not wrong right now. A lot of making this deck good was the fact that the list I started with off of Twitter, we cut all of the unplayable cards from it. It turns out cutting all of the cards that are wildly unplayable from your deck makes it better. So this doesn't have a removal spell in it, but it has a Scryland and it has a Singer. I think I can keep it. It might be right to mulligan hands that don't have Deadweight, Heartless Act, or Eliminate though. The deck do well versus Sultai and Cycling. I think this deck has a very good Sultai matchup. I haven't played the Cycling matchup a ton, but on paper, this deck has cards to be good against Cycling. You have counter spells to not die to Zenith Flare, among other things. All right, would I rather kill Fireblade Charger or Fervent Champion? Who's got to die here? I think it's Fervent Champion because blocking Fervent Champion on a later turn is harder with their shocks and their +2 attacks. Yeah, first strike's annoying. Yes, big agree. If you want to see how I approach building decks, the first video that we played this deck in, where we started with a list that was very rough and we turned it into where we are today, is fantastic. Not having a removal spell for Annex here is real rough. I think I'm just passing and holding up Jawari Disruption. Could be wrong, though. We have mana, but our plethora of tapped lands here feels like we're dead. They're gonna cleave us here and we're gonna die. I think my keep was bad. Oh. Sure. No cleave. SFL. Right on time, Heartless Act. Welcome to the party. Gonna kill this now so they can't cast Cleave this combat. Alright, can't beat Cleave in a million years. We're not playing around it. Just for reference. Ooh, I'm technically not dead on that attack, right? We were going to 1. Maybe that concession was premature. I'm used to Annex being bigger than that. Maybe our Dirge Bat could have killed stuff next turn to not die. Maybe. No, we're probably still dead. I mean, to be fair, they could have had Cleave on an earlier turn and then they didn't. So I think they drew it. This hand desperately needs to draw lands. The spells are real good, and we're playing 26 lands, so maybe I should have put the 27th land back in on the play. Very, very possible. Should have put the 27th land back in on the play. Hey, look, chat. It's a Fireblade Charger that doesn't deal any damage when it dies. Heal me. -1. Heal me. That's not how that works, unfortunately. My Kingdom for a Disfigure, chat. The fact that we have to play Deadweight sucks so much. Disfigure's not standard legal, silly cheese. Alright, need to draw land. I mean, we have just as many dual lands as everybody else does in this deck. Ooh, it's even the Black Source? That's exciting. Doing this right away is slightly worse against second Torbran, but it's better against instant speed burn spells hitting my face, so... Rather than play around the second 4-drop, I'm just gonna do this now and play around the plethora of burn spells they certainly are playing. Land next turn's actually not a bad draw. It lets me hold up Negate with Dirge Bat. That's not terrible either. If they also have Cleave, they got me here. And if they don't have Cleave, we're in an okay spot. Didn't get baited. Fist pump. What? Singer is evolving. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I love the activate the castle to get auto pass value in. Respect, opponent. I agree. We are very far ahead at the moment. Gobble, gobble. We hold on to that. It returns them to play as separate creatures, Jin. So you get all of them back, but they're split apart. Yeah, this deck's great. Yeah, Malakir Rebirth was good. I felt like I wanted... So, in previous iterations of this deck, I felt like I wanted slightly more lands, but I also really didn't want more lands, and there weren't any other spell lands that looked like I wanted to play in here. And credit to this idea, the 6-0 deck list dumps on Magic Arena on magic.gg, there was a different deck list playing this card, and it was like, oh, that seems really good. Because again, the key to this deck, the reason why this deck works, is the card advantage from Slitherwisp and Sea Dasher Octopus are what drag you across the finish line, and having basically more copies of these cards in our deck virtually to protect them feels really good. And I wouldn't say that this deck's a huge favorite against everything. All the games we play feel close and interesting, but I also have yet to play a matchup with this deck where I'm like, oh, that was unwinnable. Like, Sultai feels good. The aggro decks feel close. Between Singers and Deadweights, we have a lot of play there. Yeah, I'm really happy with what this is doing. I don't think I have any changes after that set today. I think the slight adjustment on the mana base is good since we added black sources with Malakir's Rebirth. I mentioned in the set that I'm not convinced that this is the ideal extra removal spell in my deck, but I also like the idea of having like a scotch of life gain against the aggro deck, so I'm playing a couple of these, So we hit both of the goals for the Star Trek thing. So I'm going to be doing at least 2 tournament weekends in the next month. This weekend is the qualifier weekend that I'm not qualified for because you had to qualify for it in January, back before I came back to playing Magic. So there really aren't a lot of third-party tournaments this weekend because of the official Wizards Arena tournament. But next weekend, I'm playing two tournaments, one Saturday, one Sunday, and I'll almost assuredly be playing this in one or both of them. And then we'll see what other events pop up on MTG Melee that I can play past that. All right, at any rate, we're going to be done with this one. If you want to see more of this, you haven't seen this deck before, like I said, the very first day we played this, we played it for, gosh, I think almost 3 hours. And that's honestly one of the best deck building tuning sessions we've done on stream since I came back. If you look at what we started with, to where we've gotten to here, that feels very reasonable. You'll see the rough start that we had where I saw some things that worked and we tried to tune and optimize into those things. This is our third time playing this, and I'm really happy with where we ended up at. All right, let's